Welcome to the Asphalt Advocates Podcast,
where we have unfiltered,
real conversations with lawyers outside the courtroom.
I'm Ari.
I'm Dave.
Let's dive into it. Feeling like your practice doesn't have a lucrative niche to generate 6, 7, or even 8-figure attorney fees? Wanting to focus on one practice area that will provide you with numerous high-value cases year after year? Injured riders in your state are looking for highly skilled lawyers like you that are ready to represent them. Law Tigers was founded to help those motorcycle riders in need be connected to successful trial lawyers who are members of our organization. Go to lawtigersmarketing.com to see how Law Tigers can grow your practice and profits with high-value motorcycle cases.
Hey, Ari, man, we got another episode of Asphalt Advocates, man. I'm excited. I'm so excited about our guest today. But before we get into that, man, what you been up to lately?
What have we been up to is more the case. Holy shit. I think I'm still asleep. Just came back about an hour ago from the Global Ambassador where we had our 25th anniversary party and our annual motorcycle member mastermind. It was amazing. All the members were in town, had some parties, networking, learning from each other, and becoming better lawyers and be better business people and essentially doing right by our motorcycle clients and right by our members. It was fun.
Absolutely, man. Of course, I was there, man. And I tell you, the most recent years, we kind of did the motorcycle accident summit. It was on a larger scale, which was cool. I mean, it was a good look. But I could tell you the value in these masterminds, man, you know, it's intentional, authentic, meaningful connections. And I thought it was a lot of good stuff we covered, man. And overall, I think the attorneys and vendors, everybody had a great time.
I agree. I literally just had coffee with one of our members this morning and saw a few others as we were all checking out from this amazing hotel, the Global Ambassador. If you have not been, I certainly recommend it.
Global Ambassador.
It was off the chain. And to me, just getting everyone together, and it's exclusive. If you're not a member, you ain't coming.
Yeah.
So top lawyers throughout the country have their own practice areas along with their Law Tiger practices and just the camaraderie, the friendship, having a good time. And again, learning from each other. It was wonderful, and I look forward to doing it probably again next year, although Veronica's going to kill me. But the consensus was annual, not every other year. So
annual is the way to go, man. It's a great check-in, and it's just good to like, once again, you know, deepen those connections and relationships.
Yeah.
And as we get better, man, you know, it's like a gauge for us. But hey,
talking about relationships, I think we got someone special in the house today, don't we?
We do, man. We do. Hey, well, without further ado, you want to introduce our guest?
Absolutely. And I'm very proud and excited to announce our Tennessee Law Tiger member,
baby.
Joey Fuson in the house. What's up, brother?
How you doing? Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You actually look very well composed for a guy that I know can go hard sometimes at night. Man, you look like you're fresh, ready to go. What's your secret?
Yeah, I went to bed early last night. That's
all right. Fair enough.
I mean, secret. You know, in Scottsdale, you know, what early is relative. But yeah, I was in bed early last night. But you know what you were saying about the meaningful connections. I mean, this mastermind was amazing to be able to connect with some of the best lawyers in the country.
Sure.
And I would second. I think annual is better than biannual. So
well, then it's done. It's done. By the way, getting back to like Scottsdale, obviously this hotel was like unbelievable, amazing, right?
Yeah.
How do you not go out on a night when there's everybody having a good time in the bar? Like, what was your motivation or your?
Oh no, I was out. I just didn't go out for the second course.
Out.
Yeah. Just shut it down a little earlier.
I shut it down about 12:31 instead of 3 or 4 when everybody else.
The night before, I think you were out there. I saw you downstairs. Did you go anywhere or did you just lay low?
Well, we did. So Sunday night we went out to Talking Stick, and then Monday night we went out again. And last night two of my close friends came over to the Global, and we hung out there.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. We're so happy to have you both as a member and obviously on our podcast. This is going to be great, and I think this will be a little bit different than the typical podcast to which you're accustomed. And so, real quick, obviously you are a practicing attorney. Tell us a little bit about your background, professionally, personally, just so the audience can kind of learn a little bit more about you.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm again, my name is Joey Fuson. I born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. Family's from there. Grew up in and around Nashville. Went to school at University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Got out of school kind of knowing I wanted to be a lawyer right off the bat. Went to law school there in Nashville and got licensed back in 2006.
Nice.
And married in 2005. So I've been married 20 years as of this past year to my wife, Lacey.
Congratulations.
Got 2 daughters. I got an 18-year-old daughter at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, who's a freshman. And I've got a sophomore daughter who's in high school, and she takes up a lot of my time.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you're a girl dad. I love that.
I'm a girl dad, through and through. I don't know how good I'd be at a boy dad, but I think I'd have some problems with I enjoy. I'm surrounded by women at my house. I'm surrounded by women at my office, and I find it. I do better in that environment, I think. So.
That's a good thing.
But they keep me in check.
Now we know your secret of looking so young and fresh because he has the right team around.
Well, good genes help too.
Yeah.
No, and I've actually we have family in Arizona. My uncle's lived out here for 30 years, and I've considered Scottsdale, Arizona, kind of a second home.
Sure,
wow.
Sure. Talking about friends and whatnot. So I think it's an interesting story how you became a Law Tiger member.
Yeah.
Explain that whole connection.
Sure. Yeah,
thing.
my best friend since childhood, a guy named John Schlitt, owns Luxury Auto Collection.
Yep.
He is friends with Joe Brown, who's your Arizona lawyer, and I guess New Mexico as well.
I think he sold him a few cars too, hasn't he?
I think John has sold several cars to personal injury lawyers in
That's
Arizona.
true. Even Joe's red Bentley, which we give him a lot of shit about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's red. I just saw it yesterday.
We're not going to talk about the red Bentley.
Yeah.
It's red.
It is red. That's enough said, right? Anyway.
But and through that connection, through John's connection and through Joe, we ended up talking and realizing that we had an opportunity in Tennessee. Joe and I partnered, and it's helped us a lot because Joe Brown and Accident Law Group has been a big part of Law Tigers for a long time.
Right.
And they've allowed us to kind of onboard through them, and it's been great. We, as a firm, back to your original question about who I am, our firm Freeman and Fuson does a lot of things. We don't just do injury work. So we've done injury work together for 20 years. It was a great opportunity for us to focus on an area that I think is a great area to be involved in, which is supporting riders, doing what we love to do, which is trying cases and practicing law. And it's it's been a wonderful thing for the last 2 years to not only be a part of Law Tigers, but also kind of get integrated into the riding community, and we're enjoying it. So
that's
wonderful.
Awesome,
that's
man.
great. That's
well,
great.
we're going to have to, handle some household items before we really dive into getting to know you. And I can't wait for that part. We got a big bottle there, a nice, good-looking bottle.
When he says household, we're not talking about housekeeping. We're talking about
I didn't know where I was
actual
going.
things that go in the house.
We got a couple of boxes, man. What we got there? What type of tequila we have, man?
So like I said, every one of these episodes, every person we have on, we do something a little different in terms of tequila. And as I mentioned, I go to Cabo once in a while, and there's always these amazing bottles of tequila that I find. And so for this particular day, we're going to go with, I think you know what this is, Don Julio 42.
I do. Yes.
Have you had it?
Yes.
All right.
Not a bad bottle.
Not a bad. We'll see how it compares to Dumal.
Yeah.
Dumal, Dobel, whatever.
Let's pour them up. Let's give it a nice little skinny shot, man.
Oh, come on! You're already going easy.
We've been on it the last 3 days, man.
Yeah.
That's true. We did have a party last night. So I'll go a little easy.
Well, that party was great last night. That was an amazing time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing your dad up there, leading the ship.
Yeah, he is a character indeed. He likes it. There's never been a mic he doesn't like. All right. Am I doing the toast, Dave? Or
Yeah. Let's do it, man.
So here's to friendship, partnership, and success in 2026.
Yes.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Air cheers. There we go. Oh yeah, that'll wake you up.
All right.
Smooth.
There you go.
All right. Here we go.
Right.
Hey, by the way, I want to give you a shout out to those pink bookers, right? Those are bookers,
books, man.
I actually go ahead.
Thought I represented a little bit for the Valley, man. The Suns.
It's funny you mention that because at the hotel we stayed at, I was in the Devin Booker suite, and it's like him. Photos, not of him, but of his shoes and his cars. So you don't see him, but you see his kicks.
Yeah.
And his car's integrated with like him throwing his legs up on the side of a pickup truck, and it was cool. So
that is cool. Yeah. They're quite subtle, man. Like, and they're very comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're hoop shoes, and my hooping days are kind of over, other than playing horse with my kids. But they're comfortable pair of kicks.
He has a pair of orange ones that are his, but they're way expensive.
Oh,
so I have because they're only limited run. So I haven't delved into those, but I do like the shoes.
Awesome, man.
Well, don't overlook your amazing Law Tigers.
That's right,
Jordan
man.
Lowe's. Come on.
Oh, thank you. These are Year of the Tiger Jordan 1s. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, hey, you're kind of a sneaker guy, also, aren't you?
I am. Yeah.
What's your go-to?
I like the Jordan 3s. That's kind of the one I've got a bunch of those.
Can't go wrong with 3s.
And I'm still a Yeezy guy. I still try to stockpile some Yeezys, even though
Yeezys are very comfortable.
they are the most
Never
comfortable.
owned one of those.
The
Comfortable
Yeezy
pair of shoes,
700s, I travel in those almost regularly. Those are
really?
my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, a lot of our Law Tiger members are sneakerheads, and so
Yeah.
it's amazing how many people that we meet with, especially when you're in a casual environment, not seeing clients, right?
Right.
The majority of them are wearing like Jordan 1s or wearing, Air Force 1s. It's crazy, but
Well,
I
what
guess-
we've seen, I don't know if it's made its way to Arizona. So we see guys now in suits in court with Jordans on.
Yes.
yeah. Who would have thought, right?
Not,
Who would have thought?
I still wear hard shoes.
Yeah, you gotta stay in hard shoes.
Yeah. Anyway, well, Dave, you want to? Actually, you know what? I'm going to start the first question here, and then I'll let
Okay.
you roll in there. So, let's talk a little bit about your history before you became an attorney. What are some other jobs, careers that you had that kind of prepared you to be the trial lawyer that you are today?
So interestingly enough, I decided I wanted to become a lawyer really before I knew what that meant back in maybe my junior year of high school.
Wow.
And so at that point in time, everything I did after that was kind of focused on being a lawyer. So
Okay.
I worked for Senator Frist my first year of college.
Bill
and-
Frist, right?
No, well, Senator Frist, yeah. So
Oh,
I worked for Bill
yeah,
Frist,
yeah.
and he was the senator, our state senator then. So this is a funny story. My job was to come in every morning. I did it, well, every morning, 3 days a week. And I would get all the newspapers from Knoxville. They would all get delivered to the office. And I would sit down with scissors and a glue stick. And I would cut out the articles that I thought were relevant that he may want to know in Washington about his community. And I would put them on 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper, and I would fax them to Washington every day.
No way.
Yes, that's how he got his news back in, I guess it'd be 97.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Think about how
pre-internet.
far we've come
Yeah,
since
yeah,
then.
That's crazy.
I was
awesome,
sending
man.
him his news by fax, and they would put
That's
binders
nuts.
together, and every day on his desk he'd have the binders from his different districts and all their news.
As long as they're not binders full of women.
That's right.
Remember that?
So my jobs, I worked at a grocery store. I did just really small jobs, and then when I got into college after working for Senator Frist, I began working for law firms. So I started working for a law firm in 1998 and worked in law firms all the way through. Got the opportunity before I actually went to law school to work for Jim Neal, who is a legendary trial lawyer. I mean, he defended Exxon in the Valdez case. He defended Ford in the Pinto case. He prosecuted Hoffa. He defended John Hughes in the Twilight Zone homicide trial.
Yep.
I mean, he was a legend, and I was his runner. So I would go, and he had a free Ford. He had a Ford every year for the rest of his life through Ford. And he smoked these big long cigars, and he would just ash right into the center console because every year he'd turn it in, they give him a new one.
We didn't give a shit.
He didn't give a shit.
now-
But that's what I did before I then I started working for a law firm that did personal injury work. I was their case manager.
Okay.
And that's where I really started with personal injury, which would have been 99.
So
2000.
So when you work for it sounds like you worked for he was a defense guy, the smoker.
Jim Neal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was anything. I mean,
Oh,
he
yeah,
was
okay.
defending people. He was prosecuting. I mean, he was a Kennedy called him in to be a special prosecutor against Hoffa. I mean, he was just a big time lawyer.
So did you practice law while working for him? Or
No,
not?
that
Okay,
was
just
before.
like-
And then I worked for him, and then I got a job working for a guy named Tom Nebel, who was also a very successful trial lawyer and did personal injury work, and he was building a personal injury practice.
Okay.
Wow.
And I was his first case manager he hired. And so I started working as a case manager and got the opportunity through him. He said, well, if you stay here and work for me as a case manager on personal injury cases, I'll pay your way through law school. So that's ultimately how I got into
Oh,
it. He
okay.
paid my way through law school, and I worked for him, and all I did was take calls every day for car wreck cases, motorcycle wreck cases. I work them up, do all pre-lit, I'd settle them, and I was just in law school. So it was
Wow, that's pretty.
cool.
That's pretty unique. We've interviewed a good share of attorneys, and I haven't heard that response. That's been your initial plan to
Yeah, it was
become an
my-
Yeah,
attorney.
usually it's something else.
It's something else.
Are you tired of focusing on how to best market your firm? Would you love to have higher value cases and much higher fees? Let Law Tigers do the work for you. With over 25 years of experience, our tried and tested niche marketing model reaches motorcycle riders both before and after they need legal representation. See, we focus on grassroots, digital, and traditional marketing so you can get back to doing what you love, like trying cases or perhaps spending more time with your family and friends. If this sounds like something that can interest you, reach out to me, Dave Thomas, at dave@lawtigers.com. Again, that's dave@lawtigers.com. And I look forward to talking to you about how we can help bring these high-value cases directly to you.
So that's awesome. So I want to flip the next question to, if you weren't an attorney, what's runner up for you? What do you think you would have done if being an attorney wasn't an option?
I just got chills when you asked that. It was interesting. My wife and I, we've had this conversation before. I think I would love to be a chef.
Wow.
And I'm not that good at it, but I love that. I'm passionate about it. That or probably cars. John, I told you my best friend owns a luxury auto, so I would probably migrate in that world, honestly. But
That's awesome.
I don't know. I've never. Maybe later in life now I'm thinking about what I may want to do at some point, but usually in the kitchen probably be where I'd want to be.
Well, we heard Warren last night, man. He started Law Tigers at age 55. So
it's never too late.
It's never too late to have another passion.
Yeah, and I think what I may find out, which people may find out about lawyers too, sometimes what I think the job of a chef is may not be exactly what.
No, I don't think it's. I don't think it's the glamour that Hollywood shows. It's a lot of long hours, sweat, and stress. I would think, but selling like jets and cars might be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Well, I don't think of myself as selling,
right?
But we sell all day. That's all we do all the time. We're selling in our conversations to our clients to build trust, to let them know that we're the person for them.
Absolutely.
So we do it all the time, even though I've never directed it towards an item.
I think you're a natural salesperson because you're likable and trust. People trust you, and it's something that you don't learn. It's something that's just that's who you are.
It's innate. Either you got it or you don't.
It's a spirit. Yeah. So that would be a layup for you to sell or grow anything like that. So,
that's right.
But I'm sure that's what makes you a successful attorney as well. So
yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's this week is a good example. I mean, a lot of the success you have as a lawyer and in a lot of businesses is relationships and relationships with other successful lawyers like we have here through Law Tigers, but just relationships in the community you work in. I mean, those relationships you build over years, and then you rely on those relationships to ultimately help your clients. So yeah.
Interesting. So when you're not running a law firm, how do you unplug? And what do you like? What does downtime look like for you?
Spending time with my girls. That's one thing, but I would say that's not necessarily downtime. I like to fish. I fly fish, so I travel and go fly fishing. A couple times a year. I will fish locally when I can.
Wow.
I'll play golf. Oftentimes traveling to do it, but because I don't have enough time in my weekly schedule to do golf. But my father, who's 74 now, he still plays. And so when he invites me, I go play with him pretty regularly, and that's some good downtime. And then we like to ski. We just got back last week from Bozeman, and my family enjoys doing that. Our friends, we like to do that at least one time a year. So that's good downtime for us.
You said fly fish. Like I always harken back to like river runs through it.
Yes.
Where are your top?
Yeah.
Where else do you go fly fishing? You said
Bozeman.
locally.
Bozeman is my favorite. I mean, you got the Yellowstone, you've got the Gallatin, you've got the Madison. Those three rivers are just world-class rivers. We near us is Arkansas has some really good rivers. The White River and the Norfolk. Both good areas. So that's near me.
Being that you like to come out to the Southwest, I hear Taos, New Mexico is another good place.
Yes.
You've heard of Taos, New
I
Mexico?
have, and they also have good skiing.
That's some of the hardest ski slopes in the country.
Wow.
Taos. Yeah, I've been. As a kid, I went. They're tough.
Wow.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful area there. That's awesome.
So that's downtime for me. I mean, I also will exercise to try to keep somewhat in shape. And
that's good, man.
That's kind of downtime.
Sure. Wonderful. Wonderful. What about travel? Do you do Europe? Do you do
travel? Yeah.
Travel as well?
We have a smaller family. We kind of designed, and I think we thought this years ago that we want to have a smaller family so we could travel. Now they get old enough and you got to kind of force them to travel.
Sure, now they don't want to be with you.
Kind of backfired on us. But no, we travel a lot. I mean, my wife just got back yesterday from Cancun. She's an event planner, so she was there traveling, doing an event in Cancun. We like to go to Montana a couple times a year if we can. I go fish there.
Oh, Montana's great,
but not really out of the country. I'm going to Greece in August. So that's out of the country for our 20th anniversary trip.
Well, good for you, man.
Awesome.
10 days in Greece with my wife. Won't be bad.
20 is a big year. So I have a question for you. It's going to change gears a little bit. If you could sit down for dinner with any historical figure, lawyer or not, who's at the table and why?
That's a tough question. Historical figure. Well, I've always been fascinated with some of the United States history. So I would think maybe going back to maybe like Jefferson and Washington days, like a forming of our country. So maybe I'd want to spend some time with Alexander Hamilton,
Come on.
or our, maybe George Washington, somebody like that. I think would be fascinating for me. I'm really into U.S. history, and that's something like that.
What would you ask him? What would be it?
I don't know. I don't want to say. How is it? What are y'all doing? I mean, I think there's some genius in how they formed our country and the concepts of individual rights and the Constitution and how they were able to create that and craft it in a way that has still lasted. I mean, it still works. And I think that's pretty fascinating. So I'll probably ask them about that and how they came up with that. And my family's big into that Hamilton musical too. So maybe that's kind of in the back of my head.
Did you know that they made a musical out of it? Yeah. That was fun.
How good is that musical though?
It was great. I've seen it. It's very cool. Yeah, it's very cool. If today's Joey could give advice to his younger self, one day, on day one of law school rather, what would it be?
Take more risk. I think one of the things I've tended to do over my life is probably be more conservative in things, how I grow our firm, how we decide to handle cases. I think I would probably instruct myself to have less fear and just be more fearless and more. I think that's a good advice that I think I try to do it now, but there's certain limitations to that,
100%.
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny you mention that because obviously we have a number of members like yourself that are very successful, and maybe I'm just super the other way, like not risk averse, which isn't always good, but they have told me, that they tend to be more on the conservative side, not using as much leverage, making, and I don't know if it's an attorney thing, because I'm not a lawyer, obviously, or just happens to be that those guys, are just a little more on the conservative side. But they've told me, pay cash for everything, not use leverage, blah, blah, blah. And again, I don't know if that's those kind of people are attracted to being attorneys, or it just happens to be that, the sampling of people I spoke to within our group are a little more on the conservative side.
Yeah, I think for me, it's this kind of idea of wishing I celebrated victory more than feared the failure. And I think that kind of each side of that coin, I think for my life, I've always kind of had that fear of failing. And so that's a protective measure for me of going, okay, what's the worst case here? And always kind of, instead of focusing on what success looks like, not worrying about if you fail. I mean, if you hear the advice from successful people, oftentimes they say, I failed multiple times to get to where I go. Yeah. And I think sometimes that fear of failure can inhibit your full potential. You reaching your full potential for feeling that, kind of always having that in the back of your head of going, I don't want to screw this up.
Yeah.
Right. It's funny. It's funny because I've talked to Dave about this. My father, before Law Tigers, had a number of business failures. Yeah. Like when he started Law Tigers at 55, he had tried to come up with this stop smoking device, and it didn't work. He was pretty close to broke. He had invested in like transmission companies, grocery stores, limousine companies, title companies, just other things because he's pretty entrepreneurial, and things that weren't related to his practice, right? Which he didn't know, and he still, after all those failures, and starting with very little, even within his law firm. I mean, the law firm was doing okay, but it drained him with all these other endeavors, and he still had the foresight. Tried again, and Law Tigers came out of that. So I mean, I think sometimes you just gotta. I mean, what's the worst going to happen? You're not going to die. You may be broke, right? Or you may.
Well, that's it.
You got to look at it and contextualize it that way. And I think the most successful people that I've met are those that aren't afraid of failure and use it as a learning opportunity.
Yeah, I call it calculated risk, man. I'm all about the calculated risk.
You're a little conservative too.
Well, and I think to answer your question earlier, now that we've kind of talked about it, one of the things I would advise myself too early on is to stay in my lane.
Yes.
I've as well have gone outside of my lane to try to do other things outside, whether it's investing in a restaurant or bar or other things that aren't in my lane. And I found that oftentimes that causes problems. And so now my focus entrepreneurially and through my practice is to stay in my lane. So everything I do has some legal aspect to it. Whether it's the hemp law group we run,
Right.
Law Tigers, obviously, our law firm.
Sure.
I own a DUI center that's kind of also fits in that brand.
Right.
And that's been helpful for me because it's my DNA. It doesn't, the stress of doing something you don't know so well is often not calculated enough.
Right,
And you go
right.
outside and you think, oh, that seems pretty easy. It's a business. But when you're not in the flow of that business, you don't know the nuances of it. It's probably why Law Tigers has been so successful is it was on brand. He knows this world. He's also a writer. All this
Right,
stuff fits
right.
in, it's his
Right.
brand.
Yeah, and having good people. I'm not tooting my own horn. Having good people that are bought into it and within the sphere of what you know and do. Once in a while, I suppose you can invest in something that takes off, but when you're not really involved in the day to day or have control over it and know enough about it, that's when things can really go astray. And you're absolutely right. Stick to what you know.
Well, and you see this a lot through people who make money and then decide to try to invest in certain things they don't know.
Yeah, right.
And they get with some people that don't guide them the right way. I mean, one of the things that I know in my law firm, knowing the law, I know what failures start to look like. I know when problems arise. Just like somebody maybe owns a restaurant, they know the flow of what's supposed to happen, and when you don't know that, it becomes you're at a big disadvantage. And it could work out.
Right.
Oftentimes, I don't think it may.
You're absolutely right.
So what's one thing about you, professionally or personally, that most people would never guess? Let's go deep.
Professionally or personally, that people would not guess. Man, that's a tough one. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know a good thing personally or people wouldn't guess about me.
And how about a hobby or interest that maybe people are like, really? I wouldn't know that about you, or background.
I really love yoga. Maybe that's something that people wouldn't know about me. So I do hot yoga pretty regularly.
Talk about that a little bit.
I'm very flexible somehow, even though I don't really look that way. Yeah. So yeah, it's something. I mean, I've now I'm 47, but now part of what I do on a weekly basis is try to combine some physical fitness with some mental health fitness.
Sure.
And part of that's some steam room, sauna, yoga, and I find that mindfulness, that quiet time for 60 minutes, I just can't get any other way, and I can't do it on my own. I can't go generate that. I need somebody to actually guide me through it. So
there's value in that, man. Self-care is where it's at. I think we had some conversation around that. Maybe we when we were a rooftop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, taking care of yourself and taking time to kind of meditate, and whether it's a steam room or infrared sauna. I mean, I do it all actually. I brought everything in house. I brought the infrared sauna in house, the cold tub, and the hot tub. So I just think it's healing, just for spiritually, emotionally, but also for your mind.
Yeah, it allows you to be a better person.
That's right.
Yeah, you can't enjoy life if you're not happy or you're dead. So
well, and that's what's out, now currently that's what's now going on. At some point, you realize you're not invincible and you need to take care of yourself.
Sure.
And especially with what we do as lawyers, I mean, I've got to be sharp. I've got to be on my game on a daily basis, and you need help.
Did you, by the way, I know I keep coming back to the hotel, but it's relevant because it was just this past couple of days at our summit. Did you see on Monday night the yoga setup outside?
Yeah.
So for those that are unaware, there was 50 to 60 mats, and it was great. DJ, flowers on every pad.
That's pretty cool.
And I'm telling you, if you're a single guy, the odds were entirely in your favor if you went there. Myself not included, nor the three of us.
I don't know nothing about it.
Full disclosure.
I didn't even see it. I don't even know what you're talking about.
It was an organized yoga event / mixer. And unbelievable.
And it supposedly was promoting a dating app with it.
Right, but I'm like, where are all the men?
There was like 2.
Right, so I'm like, if you're the 2 guys, you're like, you're good. Your odds are in your favor. But it was cool to see that incorporating health and wellness at the hotel in the grass, and just such a cool setting. It was pretty neat.
I think that you guys also, in being in Arizona, don't realize how much of that is just innately in this community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wellness, health. You just can see it around you. And I think, in Tennessee, I think we don't have as much of that. Now, maybe that's the seasonal, the weather. I don't know what it is.
I think it's also historical and cultural. I think there's some of that too. But I think, some...
It's native land here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely there. You go up to Sedona.
Yeah.
I mean, people actually come here for just for that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But I think weather, culture, it's just different. It's kind of like California for better or worse, we have similar types of interests and focus and stuff. So you know,
We were just in Sedona too.
it's beautiful. I got married there. Beautiful place.
Amazing,
yeah, what an incredible place.
Are you having leads or even cases that fall through the cracks? At Law Tigers, we know how important it is to quickly follow up on leads. We have developed a strategy to convert the highest number of motorcycle cases to your firm. I am talking about a 24/7 call center and live chat, real-time website form submission, and lead routing and tracking software to make sure you know every motorcycle lead has been followed up on and every case accounted for. Conversion is our bread and butter. Let us ensure you aren't missing or losing out on any leads so you can focus on trying motorcycle cases and getting big verdicts and settlements. Together, we can make sure no motorcycle injured rider gets left behind. Go to lawtigersmarketing.com to learn more about how we drive motorcycle cases more than any other organization.
So you're obviously leading a top Tennessee firm. You know, what does life look like for you with that responsibility? Tell us about day to day. Tell us about what you go through leading the firm.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's, I'm the managing partner of the firm, and on a day-to-day basis, I get up every morning, put a suit on, and go to court. So I'm in court 5 days a week in the morning, and most of my criminal practice I handle in the morning in court. The afternoons, I get back to the office and just kind of start round two, which is usually new client meetings. I manage the pre-litigation for Law Tigers, so we spend time with Megan going through our cases. And then, usually new client calls and client meetings all afternoon, and then I will usually take a break, maybe get some health, wellness going on, go see my family, and then I'll go around 3 at night and go from about 10 to midnight, 10 to 1 sometimes, depending on which night it is. And then, so I kind of go 3 phases throughout the day. I go court, office, and then night work.
So you're pretty busy. That's a long day.
It is. I do that Monday through Thursday. Usually Thursday night, I kind of cut it off, and then,
So it's Friday. Do you take Friday off or you still work Friday?
Oh, I work during the day, but
Right.
Friday afternoons, I'm usually cutting out, around 4 or 5 and having a normal Friday night.
And Saturday, Sunday, no work.
Yeah, I usually work on Saturday morning if I can. I'll get in the office just a little bit if I've got stuff to do. If there's a trial coming up, usually the weekend is about the only time I've really got to just focus on trial work. And then Sunday is usually the day I don't do anything. It's a day of rest, and it used to be. And maybe you have other lawyers on here that talk about that, kind of the Sunday scaries. And it just for years it was something I dealt with on Sundays. I just had this uneasy feeling. The week's about to start back up. I need to be doing something, and this kind of feeling of I'm behind, I got to work. And so it's over the years, I've finally been able to work through that where Sunday I really can rest. And so my schedule, usually I do enough Monday through Saturday to feel comfortable, and Sunday I can take a breather.
I mean, I think my dad was like that. He worked 7 days a week when he was younger, and I never understood that nor envied it because, I just grew up differently than him. But to me, like, the work-life balance is key. What's the point of working all the time if you can't enjoy it, Yeah,
and I think we find ourselves, I for sure find myself doing it without realizing it. You're just putting forward the effort. You know the work that needs to be done. You want to do a good job, and all of a sudden you look up and you work too much. And then the hard part is, how do I unwind that?
Yeah.
How do I get take off some of those responsibilities? Well, coming out to these summits, being around other lawyers through the Law Tigers organization, talking to them about some of that, and you find out, it's getting good people, hiring more good people, getting more help.
Right.
And I think some of the controlling behavior that I have over cases and being protective of my work product has limited me wanting to go always reach out to get other people, and that's a problem.
Talking about good people, you've got an incredible team member that's actually here today.
She's super sharp.
Who spoke on your behalf because yesterday she was in there. She actually did your best and worst for you.
Okay.
And it was amazing. She was talking about how transformative things have been since. And she wasn't self-promoting. You actually talked about her in the thing. I noticed that. Obviously tell us about this individual and how she's helped really dial in your Law Tiger practice.
Yeah, her name's Megan Duty. She actually is from the Arizona area. She has family here and spent time with her family while we were out here. And it was, being new to the Law Tigers and being new to kind of growing this specific part of our practice, we had somebody in there that wasn't doing a good job. And for better or for worse, I allowed it to probably go on longer than it needed to without making a change. when we made a change and brought Megan in, she had two things. One, she had attitude. She wanted to do good. You could just tell she was fired up about doing the work. And then I put more time into helping her get set up. So
for success,
yeah. And then she has a little community of other paralegals that do this at some of the other injury firms that she connects with. And I think more than anything, and I think you probably would echo this, the attitude is so much of it. I can train and I can show you what the nuts and bolts of it is. I just need you to want to do the work well. And she also cares about our clients.
Yes.
And you can see that. She wants to have a connection with them. She's calling them weekly, if not every other week. And then, a big part of what we're doing is dealing with subrogation. So in pre-lit, half of her job is trying to, negotiate down liens, get more money in the client's pockets, and she's good at that. She's kind of tenacious. And Joe Brown and his group are good at it too, and they've been helping her. And so it's been a good combo of maximum. I mean, she'll come in and go, I got him to waive it. She's fired up about it. And I'm like, way to go. And the clients benefit greatly from that.
Yes.
And I think that my advice to any law firm is get good people.
And do what you need to do to keep them there.
That's right.
And recognize the good work they do, because that's the second part of the equation.
Yeah, because if they feel underappreciated at any point, that resentment sets. And you can't
totally.
It's the trust and empowerment. In many cases, not taking anything from her, but it's really leadership and the culture that surrounds her as well, to allow her to be her best self.
That's right.
Which is really cool, because you have a lot of talented employees, but leadership, they smother it out of them because they don't allow them to truly be themselves and do what they do best, and all that really revolves around trust, and it sounds like that's the environment that you're fostering at your firm.
Yeah, and transparency. I mean, being open and being honest about everything we're doing, and I think having that communication. I don't know how other firms do it, but I've got an open door policy. When I come back for phase 2 of my day, that door's open and it's people in and out. I'm not getting tons of solid work done because we have my law partner's the same way. So Megan will come in and with 5 questions, we'll knock it out. There's no set schedule. We're doing that nonstop, and that's that communication, that transparency. And one of the things that we do really well, I think, as a firm is we treat our employees kind of like a family.
Yes.
I think people say that, but when they need off for things, we let them off. If they need to work from home that day because somebody said, they get that.
Sure.
We give them that, and we don't ever ask for anything back in return. No questions.
No,
that's awesome, man. Yeah. So, my next question, you kind of answered it already. It was, really balancing your personal life and your business, but I want to get a pivot to really understanding your why. And why does Joey Fuson do what you do? I mean, what's the why behind it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the why for me is I have, I really, really like helping people. And that sounds cliche. I get it. But when somebody calls us with a problem, they're calling us usually at their lowest, right? They've either been injured, they get arrested, whatever the case may be. They're not having their best day or they wouldn't be calling me, period. And that moment where I can give them a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of compassion, maybe some empathy, and hope that this is going to be fine. We've done this before.
Sure.
We're going to help you the same. I love that. And that's selfish. I love that feeling. It gives me a charge.
Yes.
And I think that's what keeps me coming back is we're actually helping people and we get to see it. We actually get to be a part of that. That's the why for me, honestly.
That's awesome, man, because and thanks for your transparency and being honest, because typically studies show that people that love to serve, like I can see you're a servant leader and love to help others, it's kind of selfishly even helping themselves.
Oh yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, the money counts. You do the right thing, the money counts.
Well, I was saying that if you do good work and you help people, then it'll ultimately pay off, right?
Yes.
And I think that's true. I really do.
It's not a think, it is.
Yeah.
It's the same
factual
thing to our community, the writing community at Law Tigers. Not trying to make a big pivot, but I always talk about this on the road, is that if you keep people first, they'll keep you first.
That's right.
It's all about community.
It's called the Daveism, by the way. That's
right.
Dave.
That's right.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's it, man. That's
It's true. I mean, I read a lot of books, and I don't do it for this reason, but you put people first and you focus on their well-being.
Yeah.
And we do that in the motorcycle community. We do that, throughout all the motorcycle businesses, individuals. And you do that without expecting anything in return, because that should not be the motivation. And that's what leads to more referrals. That's what leads to people recommending you and using you themselves, because they know that you're not motivated by greed or self-interest. You're motivated by giving and doing for others. And all of our members, that came up in a couple of the sessions yesterday before, is that's where the success comes from, is putting people first, doing good work, good lawyering, and the money and the success. And it's not always money, right? There's other ways to measure success besides financial. Will follow.
Well, most attorneys I come across, and that's what I do for a living, they're not wired that way. They're not wired of the way you're explaining your why and your purpose and what you do professionally and personally. It's if I can say it's a transactional world in the legal field. Everything is around acquisition costs and things like that. And that's where our program is very unique, because we're asking them to do something that they're not accustomed to. ROI. What the hell is ROI, Dave? Mm-hmm. But it really is. It's the long game, but it's also trusting the process. But more than that, being more relational versus transactional. You want to talk to me? What does that mean to you? Being relational versus being a transactional lawyer.
Yeah, I mean, so we get a lot of referrals. Yeah. We get referrals from other lawyers. We get referrals from former clients. I mean, I bet a majority of, if you look at the whole law firm, comes through a referral network that exists by doing good work. And if we were only transactional, if they were just a name on a page, we didn't connect with them, we didn't learn their life story, we didn't get to know who they were, we're not getting those referrals. They're not. That's not. There's not going to connection made there, because, as you know, when we talk about this, there's not people. When you're touching people through marketing or in the marketing space, they don't necessarily need a lawyer that day.
Right.
They just don't. And the job is that when they do need one, they think of you. And I think that Law Tigers does it well nationally. What we have done, I think, we have treated people like people.
Yes.
We have spent time and got to know them. We've been honest with them. We communicate with them. And so we get to know them, and that's the relational part. If it was just transactional, we don't do that. And because a volume practice is going to be, it's harder to be relational the more cases you get.
Right. Yes.
And we were talking about this week in the seminar of what are some things you can do as a law firm to make it more relational, have constant communication, answer phone calls, return emails. All right.
Right.
Communicate about we got these medical records and here's what we're doing next. So they got to, when you're on a trip, if you know where you're going, it makes that trip more enjoyable.
Yes.
And
it's funny you mention, because even on the marketing side, and this is the biggest challenge that I run into, and I know Dave does too, with the more transactionally focused attorneys, is they want to see attribution like immediately. Hey, if I spend $100,000, I expect to get this much back in this time frame. And I'm like, look, when you're building brand, when you're building trust, when you're building community, it doesn't happen overnight. Number one, you got to earn that. And number two, it's not a linear path, meaning you can't just say I spend this and I get this in return within this time frame, because people make decisions in different ways. Not everyone gets in an accident immediately. Sometimes it may not be for years that impact you had on an individual pays off and they remember you or call you or get referred to you. Because again, we're dealing in a smaller number of accidents, because obviously motorcycle accidents aren't the same as auto accidents.
Sure.
But if you invest, you put in the time, the model works. We've done it in many markets. You got to trust the process and understand that the payback does come, but you got to make the investment and do it for the right reasons.
Right. And this is not my saying, it's not a Davism, but I always say marketing isn't an expense, it's an investment. And that's the way you have to look at even your business, And I love what you said, man, about being relational. I talk about making deposits. It's like going to the bank. Many firms I talk to, because obviously we were talking about marketing, they said, man, I tried that, Dave, doesn't work. I tried that for 6 months, doesn't work. And I'm just trying to say, hey, that's a transactional mindset, man. Mm-hmm. That's like going to the bank and trying to make that withdrawal, but you haven't made any deposits, right? So deposit in your community. Deposit into your people, deposit into the behaviors and best practices that's going to set you up for those returns.
Yeah, it's like, we talk about, Mark and I, my law partner, have talked about this, about planting the field and expecting the rain to come, right? We have to plan. Mm-hmm. And I think part of what Law Tigers is, it's almost like a kernel, right? You give us the seed, and then our job is to surround it with the right people, the right culture, the right client relations, and be good stewards of the Law Tigers brand. And that takes a lot of different ingredients. It's not just I buy a billboard. It's not just I give away a bike. There's a whole, almost picture like just a collage or an entourage of things that we need. You need the water, you need the sunlight, you need some minerals, you need some soil, all that stuff. So
yeah, it's true.
If you're looking for high quality leads that result in high value cases, our three-pronged marketing strategy of grassroots, digital, and traditional methods help reach loyal community of motorcycle riders that are in dire need of lawyers that can care for their clients and drive successful outcomes for them. Once you become a Law Tigers member, we will implement our 25-year time-tested marketing program that will drive numerous high-value motorcycle cases to your firm each year. Just ask Law Tiger members throughout the 35 states where we market to riders and dominate within our niche. If this sounds like something you would like to be interested in, reach out to me, Dave Thomas, at dave@lawtigers.com to talk about what Law Tigers can do for you.
So we're talking about, transactional lawyers versus, more community-based or relational based. So what beyond that differentiates a good lawyer versus a great lawyer?
Well, you can communicate, you can answer the phone, you can do all those things and be good, right?
Yes.
To be great, I believe it takes you having a few things. One, you've got to have people around you to be great. You can't be great on your own. You have to have systems in place to be great, right?
Yes.
You cannot just be great. You have to, and Law Tigers is a great example. You have systems. There's ways that you become great. It's the idea of, you don't see how the sausage is made or whatever they say behind
That's
it.
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think it takes all those ingredients, right, for us to be great. And then you've got to go do the thing.
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
Like you can do all those things, but then you've got to go get the verdict at trial. You've got to go get all the components ready for the case to get them to settle for the max value. Like you still have to have all those things in place, and then you've got to do. You've got to go out and do it. And so I think that may be a way that would separate. And I'll say one more thing. A lot of law firms that do personal injury work, they have a face on a billboard.
Yes.
But that's not the person that's handling the case.
Almost never.
Almost never. And in fact, what ends up happening, especially in our market, they go to a case manager. They never talk to a lawyer.
Right.
The case that gets settled, they never meet their lawyer. They don't know who their lawyer is. That's transactional.
Right.
And relational is they know who the lawyer. They get on a phone call with me and I say, hey, I'm your lawyer.
Right.
I'm going to be the one, carrying this case all the way through. And, I think that's one thing we do well is that Mark and I are the ones handling the cases.
Sure.
And so they know that the one on the billboard and the name under there, Freeman and Fuson, it's Freeman and Fuson handling the case.
Of course.
And I think a lot of places don't do that.
Yeah.
And we know your work is difficult. It's definitely rewarding, but it's not all peachy keen all the time. So let's talk about, a client that maybe was the most outrageous client experience that you've ever experienced in your tenure.
Yeah. Okay. So I do criminal work, so that's easy. I got tons of those.
My dad told me stories he was a criminal lawyer years ago. He told me stories. Yeah.
I mean, we've had some pretty big cases that are very unusual. I think one of the things that I've dealt with, this is really unusual, is so now with stalking and internet stalking, you have people that can do these spoof accounts and they can ruin people's life. And I had a young female client years ago that she was basically creating fake numbers and sabotaging people all over town, specifically people related to a guy that had broken up with her. And I mean, off the charts. So we had to
She's not better.
Yeah, I actually hired a private investigator myself, not for my client, myself, to go investigate to see if my client was being honest with me. Wow. And it turns out she was not. And so it was that was a pretty interesting case that involved a large amount of online sabotage that was pretty interesting. Wow. We as far as injury cases too, we've had some interesting cases. But what's interesting about the injury cases are that they're not too crazy. I mean, somebody's driving on the street on a motorcycle, they're not, and they get hit. As far as how crazy those become,
right?
Not that, but
criminal people do some stupid shit, is what you're saying.
You can't even make it up. We get some of these calls, and I just cannot believe what I'm reading. Yeah. Did this really happen? So we've got a bunch of those criminal cases.
I actually inherited some really cool motorcycles from my dad's criminal clients when I was a kid.
Did you?
Because they didn't have the money. So there was a Harley chopper, first exposure to bikes. I was like 7, 8 years old, chained to a tree because the guy couldn't pay. So that was number one. And then a Banshee 4-wheeler quad that I had up until a few years ago. Guy was a meth dealer. Cave Creek couldn't pay his bills. And so that was the collateral, which he never paid. So I inherited that. And just some of the stories my dad has shared with me about
My best
criminal
bartering,
clients.
I ever did was for a motorcycle. So I had a client that was a big drug dealing client that house got raided and couldn't pay the most of the bill, and he gave me for $3,500 is the credit I gave him for a Gixxer 1000. That was the red, white, and blue.
That's a good deal.
All
for you.
original.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know what I had, and I ended up taking it to the shop. And every time I drop it off to get it fixed and get sparked,
Right.
people wanted to buy it. I'm like,
course.
are you selling this? Are you
Yeah,
selling
yeah,
this?
yeah.
So I finally sold it for like $7,500.
Well, that's one of the few clients that gave you somewhere you made money, right?
I made more, yeah. And I think ethically I was supposed to, I forget what I was supposed to do. It
We
was
won't
years
talk
ago.
about that. That's okay. It's fun. It's funny because on the criminal side, most people are not happy with the outcome. I would assume, are they? I mean, 9 times are most of your criminal clients happy.
I think that the criminal cases, yes, I think we have a lot of clients. So what
really?
happens though
Okay.
is you get really scared. And the same thing with our injury clients. They really fear the unknown, right? They're
Right.
fearing what's going to happen if they're not able to get back to work, or they're fearing what happens if they go to jail and can't take care of their kids. So once I can relieve them of that fear, yes, they're happy. I mean, that's a relief. Now, are they happy about going on probation or
Right.
probably not? But I would say the most unhappy clients are in the family law space.
Wow.
Yeah, because nobody wins, right?
Everybody loses by definition.
Whether it's money or custody, right? There's
You're
no
either
clear
splitting it
winner.
up time, so you're both losing. You're splitting
Right.
up property, you're both losing. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's probably some of the most I would say some of the most emotional things involve two things: involve kids,
Yeah.
and property lines.
Right.
Wow.
I'm telling you. I don't know what it is about Tennessee, and maybe it's just Tennessee. I think it's an American thing. I think we viscerally have this association with property lines being. There's something about that, and I think people get very, very
Territorial.
upset and territorial. Yeah,
You're talking about like actual like
property
physical-
disputes. Yeah, property
Yeah,
lines.
disputes,
Like,
yeah.
oh yeah, people lose their minds.
That's crazy. Yeah. I think that's more of our generation or older. I don't think young people would have too many concerns over property lines. I don't think they own property.
That's what I say. Nowadays, if you're in your 20s, it's really hard to
They don't
own
give a shit.
property.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got out of college, I bought a house. I mean,
Me too.
my first job. I
Yeah, me
bought a
too.
house and
That
able
was
to
a
pay
sign of
for it.
success.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
And now, when
Yeah.
you get out of college, I think it's hard for them to buy houses.
I don't know if they.
I don't even think that's their goal sometimes.
or cars.
Yeah. That's
Or
right.
anything.
That's right.
Yeah,
It is
trips,
different.
experiences. That's what it's all about.
Well, right around Arizona, if we don't have the Waymo vehicles are in Nashville now, but I think they still have the actual drivers in there.
really?
Like
here,
they're
no.
still.
Yeah.
I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
There have been non-driving Waymos here for 6-7 years.
Yeah,
This is
you
one of the
guys-
betas. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were the test
Yeah,
market.
yeah.
Austin is another place I just was at.
Yeah.
They're everywhere there.
Vegas, they have them with like they're not even Waymos. They're these boxes with no front or back seat. You get in and you're like 2 benches facing each other. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah, and now they have the DoorDash kind of remote carts that deliver your food.
I've
now.
seen that.
Yeah, those are on college campuses. They got them around Knoxville.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're
riding
on the
around.
road out here in the bike lane.
Well, and a good segue. One of the things this week we were talking about that's so going to be transformational and already is for the law community is the AI and
Right.
that technology driven and
Yes.
and you talk about how you can be more relational. That's where things like AI can help.
Right.
They can help you be more of what you want to be.
Yes.
Right,
It doesn't have to be a
right.
replacement for you.
Absolutely.
And I still don't think. I mean, as much as I want to support AI and I'm going to incorporate it
Yeah.
into our firm, we've already done it in certain ways. I just don't think it'll ever replace my ability to land a client.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think that's where we've talked about it. Getting into AI doesn't get into community. They don't build rapport. It's a tool, and that did come up a lot in our meetings the past couple of days. Is using it for efficiency to support humans to do better, and scale. And the defense guy that now Drew and Max hired even said the defense they're scared because AI is now going to make the plaintiff's bar way more efficient. And
That was such a
effective. Yeah.
revelation. That was one of the
Yeah.
When he started talking about that, I realized you're exactly right.
Yep.
Because their model as an insurance defense firm is to bill.
Right.
And that's how they're making money. And if they can't, I mean, because if you think about how good AI can help us as trial lawyers, man, we can do 5-10 times the work. Maybe I can stop working 6
you
days
go.
a week as
There you
much.
go.
Make me a better lawyer.
Law Tigers has an incredible annual members-only conference where they can meet and connect with other successful lawyers from across the country who also try motorcycle injury cases. This event gives you the opportunity to learn, grow, and exchange best practices with attorneys facing the same challenges as you. During the conference, you'll have the opportunity to learn from industry experts on how to grow your practice, enhance productivity, and maximize profits. To learn more about how to become a Law Tigers member and get access to this exclusive Law Tigers members only mastermind and more, go to lawtigersmarketing.com.
Yeah. So talking about changing, because we're talking a little bit of AI, how has the practice of personal injury law changed since you first started? I know we're talking technology. What else besides technology have you seen change?
Well, we've seen caps. So
Yeah.
we've seen the legislation has changed, not to our benefit. I've seen healthcare costs skyrocket. So you've seen that go on since I started 25 years ago. I will also say with technology, we've been able to communicate and get demands to insurance companies, massive amounts of information over there, which used to be very hard to do. You couldn't send 5,000 medical records or all the. Now we can just add a link and send it. So our ease to communicate and ease to do our job as lawyers in the pre-litigation phase has transformed quite a bit. As far as trial, litigation, I think it's changed simply with technology and our ability to, with videos and camera phones. And I mean, you've now got a world where very few wrecks aren't caught on some kind of audio, video or some type of, now with GPS, we can see speed. The technology has allowed for a lot more clarity and, I can't think of the right word, transparency into what happens. I mean, now with even my criminal cases, everything's on camera.
Right.
People have a cell phone, they pull it out instantly,
True.
and the data and all the information you get on cell phones. So that's definitely changed.
How about the depot? Most of your depot's done through Zoom or virtually now. So I mean, think about all the things that used to be involved without technology and the time it took up. I mean, how much time do you think you regain through the technology?
Well, think about just a regular Zoom deposition where you've got court reporter, usually one lawyer, maybe staff. So you got 3 people, same as the other side. So you're looking at 5 or 6 people plus the deponent. So 7 people all having to pay $30 to $50 to park.
Right.
You've got to get them downtown to an office, right? You've got to have all that time spent going in and out of the building. People just sit at their desk and hit start, and you're ready to go. And it's all recorded.
You don't need as much staff either, right? Because a lot of the AI picks up the recordings, right?
You don't.
People? Yeah.
I mean, you don't. You can have it all audio, video recorded right there. It can be transcribed as you're watching it. I'm gonna have to wait for a court reporter to get me a transcript. I can actually get the transcript live.
Right.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
It's very different.
Crazy.
Yeah. And our ability in those depositions to pull up and access things like videos, audio, photographs
in real time.
With ease. Hey, let me show you a video. Share screen.
Which then shortens the time frame on the outcome of the case, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, and it also allows for a lot more efficient prep time. You're not having to, especially with AI, give me a medical chronology. I don't necessarily have to go and spend a whole Saturday going through 20,000 medical records. You can get to the heart of it. And with the good AI products, they're sourcing it, which is huge. Yeah. So I'm not just trusting them. I'm actually going to the sources when I'm reviewing
They told me yesterday that you hit one button. I think it was for medical chronology, maybe something else. One button, 10 minutes, you get the whole huge report.
That was the snapshot. That was with, remember they had the 4 products. It was snapshot and medical chronology. And
What company was that, by the way? You remember that?
Law AI.
Law Pro AI, right? Law Pro AI, yeah.
Josh
That's
and
impressive.
Jeremy.
That's impressive.
I like those guys, Josh and who else?
They have some special, Josh and Jeremy. They're brothers, Josh is an attorney there in Maryland. Yeah,
them and
I told him that yesterday. I said, man, you guys have something special.
Yeah.
The coolest thing is because really they just focus on, the medical and the billing.
Yeah,
right?
Well, they know their area.
Right.
And that was cool.
And I told him, I said, man, the pivot is in the healthcare. And he's like, yeah, we know.
And for us too, I was talking to him and I said, for the rest of our practice that does civil litigation, that does other areas, can we also dump this stuff in here? And he goes, absolutely.
Yes.
So you've got the ability to take your whole firm. Obviously, the injury stuff is very important because of the massive amounts of medical information that you're dealing with.
Right.
But any cases, it would be potentially really good. I get concerned a little bit about the cost because about every 6 months, everything seems to be getting cheaper and cheaper on the AI world.
Right, you don't want to lock in a price, right?
That's right. Yeah. And what's happening is people like Clio and Westlaw and LexisNexis, Ring Central, they're incorporating a lot of this stuff into their own.
So why pay a third party?
But you have to have, I think the thing for us as lawyers, we have to have that private or secured.
Sure.
That's right.
That's the key.
Yeah, the 3 that came up was Eve came up a lot in our meetings. Case Status, and Law Pro AI, and the members really spoke highly of those three companies on the technology side for different reasons, obviously. But yeah, it's cool to see these. Finally, the legal industry is catching up and adopting the technologies for the betterment of their practice and the clients. So,
Well, as we're talking about marketing, what has been the most pivotal marketing movie that you've done over your career for your firm to really promote extreme growth?
Well, I wouldn't say at any point in time we've had extreme growth. So we've kind of been a slow grow.
Okay.
And I would say the most successful things we've done is individual branding and getting ourselves out in the community. I mean, that's why Law Tiger is such a good fit for us, because that's the only way we've been doing it. We're not all over billboards all over the state of Tennessee. And so with Law Tigers, we're able to, in essence, hop on that Law Tigers train.
Yeah, sure.
And be good stewards of the brand. So I would say, honestly, the best thing that I've been a part of has been what we're doing right now with the giveaway. Awesome. I mean, that to me is really a true example of all the things coming together. You've got the bikes, the bike that's getting given away. You've got the Predators, that's a big part of our Nashville community.
Yes.
You have it pulling it all together. And I was just talking outside in the hallway before we started about how I think successful. They got 20,000 entries already.
Yeah, emails. And then you remarket those emails long term and stay top of mind with offers and other
Absolutely.
things.
So I would say that's been pretty transformative. And honestly, and this isn't maybe marketing, and this is such a lawyer answer, success breeds success. So the more good work you do, that's been our best marketer.
Yeah,
honestly.
that's right.
Sure. Yeah, referrals and happy clients, right?
Right.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great. That's
So
great.
this is when we
Yeah, we got a little fun here. We're gonna a little pivot here, and we'll be mindful of your time because I know you have a flight today. But this section is called "What's the Verdict?" What's the verdict? Here we go. So
Does it involve the tequila?
No, maybe.
Okay.
No. This one we're gonna let you. You want another shot?
No.
All right. I can give you one if you want.
That's the plead the fifth.
Yeah. We're coming to that. Don't worry. We haven't let you off the
This
hook.
is a speed round, rapid fire.
So this is one or the other. So I'm going to read off basically this or that for each category, and just whatever comes to mind, quickly say it. All right. Money or freedom?
Freedom.
Bad Bunny or Kid Rock?
Kid Rock.
Client outcome or your reputation?
Client outcome.
Rich or famous?
Rich.
Fear or respect?
Blonde.
Wait, you mixed them up.
Fear or respect?
Yeah.
Respect.
Blonde or brunette?
Blonde.
Legacy or lifestyle?
Man. Legacy.
Brand trust or direct conversion?
Brand trust.
Brand, like trusting brand or you answered. Oh, you answered. Okay. I'm sorry. They sent a question. Boxers or briefs?
Briefs.
Judges or juries?
Juries.
Let's just pick apart one or two of these. So you're not obviously a Bad Bunny fan.
No, I like Bad Bunny. I've got his shoes. I got the Adidas Bad Bunny collab.
Yeah, I didn't know you had those. Yeah.
No, I just Kid Rock. I know Kid Rock. So he's a good dude. Yeah.
Interesting. Like no.
I mean, not that. I've been
a lot of
around
time
him. He's a
around him.
Nashville guy. He lives not far from us.
All right.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And also, obviously you don't care about fame. I don't think most people do. It's just show me the money,
Well,
right?
one stumped him a little bit
what was
was
the stump?
legacy and lifestyle. He took a little time to think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
tell us
think
about that.
I felt like lifestyle to me, it's not so much like a flashy lifestyle. It's what the lifestyle that I want to live and with my wife and my daughters and our practice. So that's really important. But when you think about legacy to me seems like your lifestyle is going to last. It's like a lasting part of it. So I thought legacy probably fit
it's
it
all
better.
they remember you when you're not here, right?
Yeah.
What you leave behind.
That's true.
I think so. And I think for my daughters, I want to leave behind a legacy of them they can be proud of. Their father,
Nice.
That's big time. I can tell you one answer that he didn't have to even think about. Actually came out was blonde or brunette.
Well, there's probably a reason.
Well, my
behind
wife's
that,
blonde,
That's
and she
a good-
tried to go brunette one year right after we got married, and it was not a good experiment. I told her, I was like, I did not marry a brunette. I married a blonde. So.
I've always wondered what happens if we ask that question, but they're married to a redhead. How do you answer that?
I think you just answer red.
Yeah,
you
that's
just
true.
said
That's
red.
true. That's true. Anyway,
Feel like you don't know where to put your marketing dollars effectively to bring in high-value motorcycle cases? Traditional and digital marketing strategies are consistently evolving. You can't just target one avenue. At Law Tigers, we focus on every aspect of marketing Whether it's billboards, paid social, branded search, media ads, or promotional items handed out at motorcycle rallies, we cover it all. We have been marketing to the motorcycle community for 25 years. Our finger is on the pulse of the riding community, and we know how to effectively reach riders, whether they have been in an accident or not. If you need help casting a massive net on the motorcycle community to reach injured riders, reach out to me, Dave Thomas at davidlawtigers.com.
All right. For our next segment is called Plead the Fifth. We got a little legal jargon. We can work into these things. You know?
Yeah.
That's appropriate.
Thank you. So if you could permanently, oh, by the way, I forgot to put context to this.
That's right.
So if you either answer the question or you plead the fifth. If you plead the fifth, you drink. So
Fair enough.
That's the goal. You have another shot and you drink tequila on your own. All right, here we go. So if you could permanently delete one person in your phone, who is it and why?
Jeez, you just come out shooting.
Oh, I'll tell you who it would be. It would be Carol Birdsong.
Oh Lord.
Who and why? Who is she?
She's the one who calls you early in the morning from the school system and tells you the kids are out of school or there's snow. And so she calls in and everybody always jokes because it's saved in my phone as Carol Birdsong.
Oh, that's
and everybody
good.
goes, fucking Carol Birdsong. I don't want to hear from that bitch.
That's a good one.
I guess that would be somebody I'd want to take out.
Is she Karen-like or not Karen-like?
Oh, I actually think she just left, but now it's a new person calling. She's been the bearer of bad news for like 5 years in Williamson County. So
there you go. All right.
that was a safe one.
That was safe. Anyone unsafe? Like
no, because if somebody's in my phone and I delete them.
Yeah.
But you know, I'd say Carol and.
Was there anybody in the past you're like, shit, I don't want to answer this call?
Yeah. I've got some clients I've saved in just to make sure I've put their name in, so if they do call, I know not
That's
to
right.
answer. Yeah,
There
I
you
got
go.
several of those.
Yeah.
That are just parking in my.
You did good. That was a good answer.
All right.
So, hall pass question here. Okay. What celebrity, public figure, or whoever, who would you want a hall pass with if you were given that one hall pass? Your wife gave you a hall pass. Who would it be with?
Probably Blake Lively is for years. She was one of the hot ones I think I could have gotten a pass for.
I heard she's difficult to deal with.
I'm
on
sure.
set,
Yeah,
though.
we don't need to talk or anything.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. We won't go there.
We're not hanging out.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Blake Light. All right. Fair enough. She's attractive. There's like some lawsuit or some stuff going on about her.
Oh, I know. Ryan,
I
I think she's married to Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yeah, she might have Ryan, but the actor that she was with in a recent movie last year, it was all kinds of stuff about it was all over the news, and she made accusations, and he said she was, you know what? Anyway, that came to mind. All right, I digress though. What is the biggest moral compromise you've ever made in your career?
Well, I would say probably my choice to defend a client that was charged with rape of a minor, because morally, obviously, that's not something that I'm in support of. And our office doesn't handle those cases. We have traditionally stayed away from those cases, and I made the decision during COVID to take a case that involved a young man who was charged with raping a minor, and I ended up getting it resolved, and that compromised me morally, because I got to do a good job for him, and I did a good job for him. And but since then, it was the last one I've taken, and we haven't taken one since, and we won't. So that's probably that's a moral compromise I've got to make. But traditionally, in criminal cases, like in any case, I'm not taking on the crime of my client.
No, of course not.
But to be real, if we're talking about relational legal work, I've got to believe in my client. I've got to want to fight for my client. And if there's any chink in that armor to me, I don't think I'm the right guy for the job. So that's why I've stepped away, and we don't do that anymore. So that's probably
So you won't take another one of those? No.
And to be fair to my staff, it's not just me. Our whole office is, some of them came on with the understanding we don't do that type of work.
Okay, gotcha.
And there's so much of it. I cannot tell you how many child pornography, minor child cases They exist. I mean, it's crazy the amount of the cases.
Is it a lot of internet?
Yeah, because
related?
what they do now, they've got a system, and you imagine with AI,
Yeah.
they can see who's doing that stuff so much easier. They embed them with different codes so they can then see where those things go. And I mean, good for them doing that. I'm happy for that. But yeah, there's a lot of those cases, and a lot of lawyers handle them, and who are really good lawyers that fight really hard for their clients. I'm just not one of them.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I envision you being, kind of a family man where you have like these gatherings or maybe cookouts. I mean, that's what they do in Tennessee in the South,
That's right. Yeah, we barbecue.
You barbecue, right? So envision you're having this barbecue, and you're missing, you're lacking one seat at the table. Well, you have too many people, right? And you have to send one family member home and say, hey, I'm sorry, you didn't make the cut. Which family member would that be?
Oh man,
we need names, man.
Who would have to leave? I know who to be. It'd be my Uncle Miles.
Oh, Uncle Miles.
Well, because he'd probably be leaving anyway. He usually doesn't stay long. It's my wife's uncle, and he's a famous,
He's too good.
very, very successful artist in Nashville. And yeah, he would be the first to leave, and he'd be happy to go.
He would like a pulled pork sandwich before he leaves, man, or something.
Yeah.
He's about the most unique human you'll ever meet. Oh my God. Yeah.
He sounds like a good guy.
So his entire house, he bought the mayor's old house. This is from like the 40s. So it was this old house on White Avenue, and he's painted the whole thing white. That's normal. You paint houses white.
Right.
No. Every single thing in the home is painted white.
Wow.
Door frames, floors, walls.
God.
And then what he'll do is if he wants to clean the house, he just does a fresh coat of paint. And all his walls, he'll paint onto the walls. So he has art in different rooms all over the walls. And he puts the neon paint on different floors so it looks like it's glowing. I mean,
Oh my God.
he's 70-year-old guy.
Hey, Uncle, I like Uncle, man. That's a good one.
I think this one may stump. You may drink on this one
right.
for obvious reasons, but we'll see. And I would give you a pass if you do. Which U.S. president do you feel is the most awful leader this country has ever seen, and why?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I think Biden was probably the worst leader we've ever had.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think Joe Biden was about as bad as it gets. I think he was mentally compromised. I don't think he was a leader. And I think ultimately it's what caused Trump too, is how bad he was for 4 years. So I think probably that.
Okay.
But I don't know if I was really grading him in my 20s. I don't think I was.
Sure.
Right.
I think
right.
as I get older, you kind of be more aware. You're more aware of some of that stuff.
Sure.
But
Sure.
Yeah, I got my first voted for Clinton. That was my first time to vote for. Yeah, whatever that was that 96?
I think that was all of us. Yeah, around
Yeah,
that.
Clinton.
Our
Yeah, I think
age group,
Clinton was around the time.
It was the first vote I made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I love that, man. Well, I will say you are the first guest that has answered all of our plead the fifth. So
I know. Nice job. Thank you. Yeah.
He's 5 for 5.
Well, removing the family member is probably going to get some people who don't want to do it.
Yeah, well, that's all right.
Miles will take it well.
It's okay. You'll figure it out.
Great job. Well, hey, we got closing arguments.
Yeah, closing
man.
arguments. So this is kind of the end of our time together, or close to it. What is next for Joey professionally over the next couple of years?
Yeah, we're in growth mode. So, I mean, earlier you were talking about growth. One of the things we're doing right now is we're growing. We have 3 lawyers we anticipate coming on this year. We're going to continue to grow our personal injury practice through Law Tigers, and that's what we're planning. The next couple of years is to really crush the Law Tigers world in Tennessee.
You got to buy the other part of Tennessee, man. I got some guys in lineup right now.
That's right.
You
And yeah, and I think that's big for us. My paralegals in law. We have 2 paralegals in law school. We're going to hope to get them through. We got another one's going to be starting.
Awesome, man.
Part of what we do is our paralegals. A lot of them end up going to law school.
Yeah,
and we support them through that, and then they end up becoming lawyers. So
great,
very good.
That's something we're going to see in 2026 into 2027. And then personally, I've got my sophomore daughter. I'm trying to get through high school.
Yes.
Try to get her into college. That's important, and to continue to support my daughter in Knoxville. Try to spend more time in Knoxville with her.
Yes.
Sure.
Because I know that after a few years, it's going to be, less and less of that.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
100%.
So that's personally spend more time with my girls, and professionally continue to grow.
Nice.
So, you're a seasoned attorney, business owner. What's the single most important move or advice you would give to a young lawyer that they should make in the first 3 to 5 years of their practice?
Okay. get a paralegal and get staff. And I think lawyers often think they can do everything. They don't want to spend the money. They're not making money yet if they're on their own.
Right.
And I would encourage everybody, get people as quickly as you can. And it'll speed up that process. Number one, obviously the right people make a big difference.
Yes.
And then invest in yourself. I mean, that's one of the things that I feel like I, probably didn't do a good enough job of early, is actually reinvesting in myself as a business, in myself as an attorney, into our practice.
So is that professional development as well?
Yeah, everything, whether it's marketing, whether it's getting the right on-office man, whether it's buying the right case management software, investing back in to build it as opposed to just trying to go get money.
Yes.
And I think we get in the habit of, okay, the next case will pay me, and that's the immediate gratification. But really, you should be early on, when you have less cases, planning for the growth and planning to build something long-term. I think I looked up 5 or 6, 7 years into it and realized, oh crap, I can't just be out here hustling every day. I got to actually try to build something.
Succession planning.
Well said. Well said. Any final thoughts you want to leave with lawyers, firm owners, future advocates that are listening today?
Well, I think that, since we're here in Arizona with Law Tigers, I think the one thing I can say is, if you're going to align yourself with a brand, make sure it's a good brand. And I think that can be, you can work hard as a lawyer and try to build your own reputation. And then when you try to, and the same thing with Law Tigers, you want to make sure you're dealing with people that are reputable in the community, and not just, going to give Law Tigers a bad name. So I would say, one of the things that I'm really happy and proud of is that I've aligned myself with a really good organization, with really good people that have a great reputation, and it allows me to be more of who I am.
Sure.
And so, that's closing thought, is I'm happy to be a part of Law Tigers, and I'm happy that what I keep seeing year in and year out, now we've only been 2 years, is Law Tigers also invest in the community. They invest in their writers. They invest in their lawyers. And so it's great that the more I've been a part of it, the more I see the value. I see how good of an organization it is, because sometimes not the case.
No, thank you.
Well, I appreciate that, man.
Nice. Thank you.
It's been a great time having you on the show, man. You're one of the realest guys I know, man. And I'm just going to take a shot to that and wish you safe travels back to Tennessee.
All right.
And when I hit Tennessee, I'm going to look you up, man. Spend some time with you.
Listen, I'd love that more than anything. I'll try to take you some places besides Broadway.
I love it, man.
All right.
All right. So we have a part of the show here where we're going to take a
One more.
departing shot, and then we got some music there. You can throw on for us, Mateo?
You want to do the honors of
Let's stand up and do it here.
one more closing toast? Go
Yes.
for it. Can you make a toast?
Yeah. To peace, joy, prosperity, and always good times.
Cheers.
Yes.
Cheers, guys.
All right.
Oh, that's a good one.
There we
Yeah.
go. You gotta give us your move. Come on, man. Let's go.
Hey.
All right, that's good.
That's it.
See you next
That's
time.
it. Yeah, that's it. There's a little clip to cut in.